everyone, welcome back to the Hook Studio. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to make this Snoopy Demogorgon. This tutorial is divided into two parts, and in the first part I'll show you how to crochet the parts, and in the second we will be assembling. So let's get started. To make the Snoopy Demogorgon, we will need chenille yarn. So I've got white and black to make the body. And then for the head part, we'll need the red colored and the gray colored yarns. So these two, the red and gray for the head, and these two for the body. So if you want, you can make the body in gray as well. But for this one, I'm going to make the body in white and black as a regular Snoopy. Then do the head portion with these two. I'm also using a 3mm hook and a stitch marker. Okay, now let's start with making the ears. So to make the ears, we have to make a magic ring. Okay, so after making a magic ring, we will have to work 6 single crochets into the magic ring. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you have done 6 single crochets into the ring. We can now pull the tail to close the magic ring. Now to start the second round, we have to start with a single crochet into the first stitch. And mark that stitch because this is the first stitch of our second round. So into the very next stitch, we can go ahead and make an increase. So make an increase into the next stitch. It's 1 and 2. Now this is a combination for this round, a single crochet and an increase. So we have to do a single crochet into the next stitch, then an increase, then again a single crochet and increase. So we will repeat this for a total of 3 times. We have already done 1, so repeat the same for 2 more times. So a single crochet and increase, a single crochet followed by an increase. So by the end of this round, we'll have 9 stitches. Now round 3. Round 3 starts with a single crochet as well. So remove the stitch marker, do a single crochet, mark the stitch. Now into the next stitch, we will do an increase. That's 1 and 2. Now into the next stitch, we will do another single crochet. That's it. So this is a combination for round 3, that is a single crochet, an increase, and again a single crochet. So we have to repeat this combination for 3 times in total. So again, we'll start with a single crochet, an increase, followed by another single crochet. So we have to do this 1 more time, that is a single crochet, an increase into the next stitch, followed by a single crochet into the last stitch. That's the end of round 3. You will have 12 stitches. Now round 4 starts with 3 single crochets into 3 stitches. So first single crochet, second single crochet, and third single crochet. And now into the 4th stitch, we will do an increase. 1, and 2. So this is a combination, 3 single crochets and an increase. Now again, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and 3 single crochets followed by an increase. So repeat this for one more time and I will meet you there. So we have completed round 4 and we will have 15 stitches in total by the end of this round. Now for round 5 and round 6 we are going to do a single crochet into each of these 15 stitches. So no increases, no other combinations, just a single crochet into each of the single crochets we have got. So you will have 15 single crochets by the end of round 5 and round 6. So that's the first stitch of round 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this way you can go ahead and complete 2 rounds of 15 single crochets and I will meet you there. So here we have completed 2 rounds of 15 single crochets. Now moving on to round 7, we are going to start decrease. So let's start with 3 single crochets into first 3 stitches. So that's the first single crochet, that's a second, and that's a third. So after 3 single crochets, we are going to do our first decrease here into the next 2 stitches. We are going to do an invisible decrease. Now that's the combination for this round, 3 single crochets and a decrease. So repeat it, 1, 2, 3 single crochets followed by a decrease. So go ahead and repeat this for one more time and I'll meet you there. So we have completed round 7. By the end of this round you will have 12 stitches. Now we are going to do round 8. So for round 8 you have to do a single crochet into each of the 12 stitches and that's it. So let's remove the stitch marker and do our first single crochet. Put the stitch marker back. So go ahead and complete 11 more single crochets and I'll meet you there. Now we have completed round 8 and you'll have 12 stitches in total. Now for round 9, you'll have to remove the stitch marker and do a single crochet into the first stitch. Put the stitch marker back. Okay, we have done 1 single crochet into the first stitch. Now you'll have to do a decrease into the next 2 stitches. So let's do an invisible decrease into 2 stitches. Now you have to do another single crochet into the next stitch. So this is a combination for this round, single crochet, decrease and another single crochet. We will do this 2 more times. Single crochet, decrease, single crochet, single crochet, decrease, single crochet. So now you will have 9 stitches in total. Now for round 10, which is our last round, we will do 7 single crochets followed by a decrease. So this is our first single crochet, mark it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 single crochets, and now a decrease into the next 2 stitches. That's our last 2 stitches. So there we will have to work a decrease. That's it. So you will have a total of 8 stitches. Now what we have to do is we'll have to fold this ear in half like this. Just flatten it and then we will have to close the ear with 4 single crochets on top. So into the very next stitch in the front, you have to insert your hook. You have to insert your hook into the stitch at the back as well. So do a single crochet. Now move to the next stitch. Insert your hook in the front as well as into the stitch at the back. There we go. We do the second one. And then we'll have 2 more. That's 3. And there's a last stitch there. So we do a single crochet there. So now we have got 4 single crochets on top and our ear is closed. Now we can go ahead and cut this yarn, but make sure you leave a long tail because we will have to sew this ear to the head later. Right. So our ear is done. So you'll have to make one more ear like this. Okay, now let's make the arms. So to make the arms, we'll have to make a magic ring. Now into the magic ring, we will have to work 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we can pull the tail to close the magic ring. That's it. Now we are going to start round 2. So for round 2, we will have to do 2 single crochets followed by an increase. So that's a combination. So into the first stitch, let's make 1 single crochet. Mark the stitch. Especially if you're a beginner, never forget to mark the stitch. Now into the second stitch, let's make another single crochet. So that's 1 and 2 single crochets followed by an increase. So make an increase into the third stitch. Now repeat this combination for one more time. That is 1, 2. 2 single crochets in next 2 stitches followed by an increase in the third stitch. That's it. So we will get a total of 8 stitches at the end of round 2. Now from round 3 to round 8, we just have to do a single crochet into each of these 8 stitches. So there are 6 rounds. You have to repeat the same pattern, single crochet into each of the stitches. So 8 single crochets in total. So go ahead and complete 6 rounds of 8 single crochets and I'll meet you there. Now we can go ahead and lightly stuff the arm. Okay, now we flatten the arm just the way we did the ears and now close with 4 single crochets on top. So flatten it into the very next stitch, insert your hook and also into the stitch at the back. Insert your hook into the stitch at the back. Now do a single crochet. Now into the very next stitch at the front and the back. Do a single crochet. That's the third one. And that's the fourth one. That's it. Now leave a long tail and cut the yarn. Alright. That's it. So that's the arm of a Snoopy. Now go ahead and do one more arm. To make the nose again, wrap the black yarn, make a magic ring, and work 6 single crochet into the magic ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now you can close the magic ring. 6 single crochets in the second round. So into the first stitch, work a single crochet. You can mark the stitch. Now into the next stitch, another single crochet. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the last stitch we can do our 6th single crochet. Go ahead and make a slip stitch into the first stitch. Do the slip stitch, and now you can cut the yarn. Leave a small tail and cut the yarn. That's it. It's a nose of our Snoopy dog. So to do the tail, grab the same black yarn, do a magic ring, and then work 6 single crochets into the magic ring. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. For round 2 and 3, that's 2 rounds, we have to make single crochets around. So there will be 6 single crochets, and you have to repeat it for 2 rounds. We work a single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now bring the right side out. Now go ahead and do one more round of the same. Now you can do a slip stitch and cut the yarn. This time leave a longer tail because you'll have to sew this tail to the body later. Now just push the tail inside. So that's it. That's the tail. Now we can start doing the legs. So to do the legs, we can make a magic ring and work 6 single crochets in the magic ring. Let's do 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I've done 6 single crochets into the magic ring. Now you can go ahead and close the ring. And now for round 2, we'll do increases. So we'll do an increase into each of the stitches. So that's a first single crochet. Mark it. Do one more into the same stitch for the increase. And do an increase into the next stitch. That's a second increase. Third. Fourth. Fifth. And that's the last one. Okay, by the end of this round, we will have 12 stitches. Now to begin round 3, remove the stitch marker and start with a single crochet. Mark the stitch. And into the very next stitch, we will be doing an increase. So work an increase into the second stitch. Now this is a combination for this round. a single crochet and an increase. Now we have to repeat this for a total of 6 times, and we will have a total of 80 stitches by the end of this round. So go ahead and complete it. For round 4 and round 5, we have to work a single crochet into each of the 18 stitches. So work 2 rounds of 18 single crochets and I'll meet you there. Now I've completed the 2 rounds of 18 single crochets. Now for the next round, we can start with 3 single crochets into the first 3 stitches. You can mark the first stitch and do 2 more single crochets. That's a third one. And now into the next 12 stitches, we have to work 6 decreases. So let's do the first decrease into the next 2 stitches. And that's the second one. Three, four, 5, and 6. Okay, so into the last 3 stitches we can work single crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. So that's it. By the end of this round you will have 12 stitches. Now for round 7, we can switch to the gray colored yarn if you want a gray body. Otherwise we can continue using the white yarn. So let's start with 4 single crochets. Mark the first stitch. That's 2, 3, and 4. Okay, after 4 single crochets, you can work 2 decreases. That's a first decrease and 1 more. That's the second one. Now, into the last 4 stitches, you can work a single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And by the end of this round, you will have a total of 10 stitches. Now remove the stitch marker, and for round 8 and for 9, we have to do a single crochet into each of the 10 stitches. So you can go ahead and complete the 2 rounds of 10 single crochets. You can now fill the legs with some Fiberfill. Make sure you fill it firmly. Okay, now you can slip stitch into the first stitch of the last round and cut the yarn. Make sure you do not cut the yarn for the second leg. So this is the first leg I have made. You can make one more and make sure you do not cut the tail for the second leg. So if you want to make the gray Snoopy, you have to keep using the gray yarn instead of the white yarn. You switched the color to gray while you made the legs. So you have to continue using gray yarn for making the body as well. We have now completed our second leg. So we can remove the stitch marker and do 3 single crochets. That's 1. You don't really have to put the stitch marker here, but I'm just doing it for the time being. That's the second and the third. After doing 3 single crochets, we can chain 2. Now you can go ahead and insert your hook into the first leg we have done. We are going to join it together. So make sure you single crochet into the first leg 2 stitches before the slip stitch join. I've done 3 single crochets here and 2 chains. Now join the first leg with a single crochet on a stitch before the slip stitch. So this is the slip stitch join that we have done on leg 1, 1, 2. So this one. Now we have to do a single crochet into this. Okay, that's a single crochet there. We can mark it. Now what we have to do is we have to single crochet around into each of the 10 stitches on leg 1, and then we have to do 2 single crochet on the chain 2. Then we have to do 10 single crochet on leg 2, and again 2 single crochet on the chain 2, the other side of the chain 2. So which would give us a total of 24 stitches by the end of this round. So let's go ahead and do 10 stitches on the first leg. Now we have completed 10 single crochets around leg 1. That's our first chain. Just one loop. Have to do the single crochet into one of the loops. And that's the second one. Now we can do 10 single crochets on each of the 10 stitches on leg 2. Now we have completed 10 single crochet. Now into the chain we can do 2 single crochets, and that's it. So we have done 10 plus 2 plus 10 plus 2, so a total of 24 stitches. So we don't want this. We have to start from the first single crochet we have done on leg 1, that is this one. So do a single crochet into that, mark that stitch. Now when you join you have to make sure, so this is the front part of our legs, so we have to make sure it's facing the right side. Both of the legs are facing towards you. For the next round, so we have done 1 single crochet already, so into the same stitch we can do 1 more single crochet to make that an increase. Now into the very next stitch we can work a single crochet, so that's a combination, an increase followed by a single crochet. So into the next stitch go ahead and work an increase, that's 2 single crochet into the same stitch, and into the next stitch do a single crochet. We have repeated the combination for 2 times, that is an increase followed by a single crochet, again an increase followed by a single crochet. Now into the next 12 stitches we have to work a single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we have completed 12 single crochets. Now we have to repeat an increase followed by a single crochet for 4 times. So into the next stitch we can work an increase, and into the next stitch a single crochet. Now repeat it for 3 more times. Increase a single crochet and increase, followed by a single crochet, and into the last 2 stitches you can repeat the same pattern. So an increase followed by a single crochet. So now we have joined our legs and there are no gaps in between the legs. So from round 3 to round 7, that's for the next 5 rounds, you have to work a single crochet into each of the stitches. So you'll have a total of 30 stitches by the end of each round. So go ahead and complete 5 rounds of 30 single crochets and I'll meet you once we complete it. I have completed 5 rounds of single crochets. Now we can start round 8 with a decrease. So in the first 2 stitches you can work an invisible decrease, mark the stitch and work a single crochet into the very next stitch. Now we have to repeat this combination for 2 more times. That is, we have to do a decrease and a single crochet for a total of 3 times. So this is our second decrease, followed by a single crochet and a third decrease, followed by a single crochet. Now into the next 12 stitches we have to work a single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So now again we have to do a decrease followed by a single crochet into the next stitch and repeat it for 3 times. So now round 8 is complete. So before we move to round 9, we can go ahead and fill both the legs and the lower part of the body. Now we can start round 9. For round 9 and round 10, that's for 2 rounds, we have to work a single crochet into each of the 24 stitches that we have got. So go ahead and work single crochet for 2 rounds and I will meet you there. I've completed till round 10. Now for round 11, we can start with a single crochet and mark it and then do a decrease into the next 2 stitches and work another single crochet into the next stitch. So this is the combination for this round. That is a single crochet, a decrease and a single crochet. Now again we can start with a single crochet followed by a decrease and then a single crochet. So we have to repeat this combination for a total of 6 times. We have already completed 2 times. So go ahead and complete it and you will have a total of 18 stitches by the end of this round. We can do round 12. For round 12, you simply have to work a single crochet into each of the 18 stitches and I'll meet you there. We have now completed round 12, so go ahead and fill the body because round 13 will be our last round for the body. So fill the body nice and firm. let's start round 13. In round 13, we are going to do a single crochet followed by a decrease and repeat it for a total of 6 times. So that's our first single crochet followed by a decrease. Again, a single crochet followed by a decrease. So go ahead and do it for 4 more times and I'll meet you guys there. Once you complete round 13, you can do a slip stitch into the marked stitch. You can leave a small tail and cut the yarn. That's it. That's the body of our Snoopy. Now we can go ahead and fill it. So we have completed the body of Snoopy. You can start making the head with a magic circle and work 6 single crochets into the magic ring. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We can close the magic ring. Now we have to do 6 increases in round 2. So work 2 single crochets into each of the 6 single crochets you have got. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now for round 3, you'll have to do a single crochet into the first stitch, mark it, and do an increase into the next stitch. So this is a combination for round 3, a single crochet followed by an increase. So into the third stitch, you can do a single crochet into the third stitch, followed by an increase into the fourth stitch. So now go ahead and repeat it for 4 more times. So I'll meet you after you complete round 3. I've completed round 3 and you'll have a total of 18 stitches by the end of this round. To start round 4, you can work a single crochet into the first stitch and now work an increase into the very next stitch. And into the third stitch, you can work another single crochet. So this is a combination for round 4, a single crochet followed by an increase and then another single crochet. Now start with single crochet again, an increase into the next stitch, and then a single crochet into the next stitch. Now go ahead and complete this round and you'll have a total of 24 stitches by the end of this round. I have now completed round 4. Now from round 5 to round 8, that is for 4 rounds, you will have to work a single crochet into each of the 24 stitches and I will meet you once you complete it. I have completed till round 8. Now for round 9, we can start with a single crochet into the first stitch. We have to do a total of 8 single crochets. So we have done 1. Let's do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So after doing 8 single crochets, you will have to do 8 increases. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We have completed our 8 increases. Now again we have to do 8 single crochets. So you can go ahead and complete 8 single crochets and I'll meet you there. I've completed round 9 and you will have a total of 32 stitches by the end of this round. Now to start round 10, you can work a single crochet into the first 8 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now after completing the 8 single crochet, you have to do a combination of a single crochet and an increase into the next stitch. So repeat this combination of a single crochet followed by an increase 8 times. So we have completed it once. Go ahead and repeat it for 7 times and meet me there. Now I've completed it. So let's finish this round off with 8 single crochets into the 8 stitches. By the end of this round, you'll have a total of 40 stitches. Now from round 11 to round 15, you will have to do a single crochet into each of these 40 stitches. So work 40 single crochets for the next 5 rounds and I will meet you guys there. So now I have completed till round 15. Now to start round 16, you can remove the stitch marker and work a single crochet into the first stitch and do 7 more single crochets. It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we have done a total of 8 single crochets. Now you can work a decrease into the next 2 stitches. So this is the combination for round 16, 8 single crochets followed by a decrease. So you can repeat this for 3 more times and I'll meet you there. Okay, so I've completed round 16. You will have 36 stitches by the end of round 16. Now to start round 17, remove the stitch marker and work a single crochet. So for round 17, you just need 36 single crochets. So you have to work a single crochet into each of the stitches and you will have a total of 36 stitches by the end of this round. Now to start round 18, do 4 single crochets. That's 1, mark the stitch, 2, 3, and 4. Now we can work a decrease into the next 2 stitches. So work an invisible decrease. So this is a combination for round 18, 4 single crochets followed by a decrease. Now we have to repeat this for a total of 6 times. So 4 single crochets followed by a decrease. Okay, now you can go ahead and complete it. Now for round 19, you can start with 6 single crochets into the first 6 stitches. Mark the first stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we are going to work a combination of a single crochet and a decrease. So we have to repeat this combination of a single crochet and a decrease for a total of 6 times. I've completed it 6 times. Now you can do 6 single crochets into the last 6 stitches, and you'll have a total of 24 stitches by the end of this round. Let's do 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now to start round 20, you can remove the stitch marker and start with 6 single crochets again. So that's the first one. Mark the stitch, and that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now into the next 12 stitches we can work 6 decreases. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, now into the last 6 stitches we can work a single crochet. Let's do 3, 4, 5, and 6. So by the end of this round we'll have 18 stitches. Now we can fill the head. I've stuffed the head now. Now let's do round number 21. So in round 21, you have to start with a single crochet and then work a decrease into the next 2 stitches. So this is a combination for this round, a single crochet followed by a decrease. So you can repeat this around, single crochet and a decrease, another single crochet followed by a decrease. So you can repeat this for a total of 6 times and complete this round. I'll meet you once you have completed round 21. Now you can fill the head a little bit more. Now to start round 22, which is our last round, we can do a decrease in the first 2 stitches. In this round, we will be doing decreases only. So that's our first decrease. We will have to do a total of 6 decreases. That's a second decrease. You can go ahead and complete 6 decreases before we close up the head. Now you can leave a very long tail and cut the yarn. Now use a needle to sew and close the end. So now we have to work only on the front loops of the 6 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now you can just close the head and bring the yarn to the bottom of the head, where we will be joining it to the body so that you can use the same yarn there. So I'll be joining the body to the head like this.